Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Inside the Walls podcast, special edition with two different co-hosts to this episode. Matt and Jeff are not with me today because of a personal reason. We got the director of multimedia for the National Arena League, Steven Shatola, and the commissioner himself, Brent Ikard. Hello, gents.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, I hope we're good substitutes for your normal co-hosts.
I could call it a good trade.
I told him, Stephen, when I talked to him a second ago, I said, we want to make sure you didn't start on time. We didn't want to start a trend for you. You know, we don't want to break tradition.
We gotta keep up with the status quo.
But before we bring our guest and our new partner, you two gentlemen were behind the scenes working tough while I was trying to get more information from you guys. But you know, doing what you guys do best, keep information away from me. Just kidding. But Brandon, how did this start? What made us get towards this partnership with Right Now TV, and what made you attempt to get this, unlike past years in the NAL?
You know, we talked originally. You asked me what my goals were, my ideas were, things I want to do, and it was just to do things like this, basically to. You right there, Stephen? You good?
Yeah, fixing my camera so I got the widescreen like you guys.
Okay. But to build the league up, start growing the footprint of the league, and I don't necessarily mean by teams. It's just everyone understanding NAL, what the NAL is, the product, getting to see it, and through other ventures that I've got, I had that new Norm and his company. So one phone call led to another, and I said, hey, you know, this could be a great opportunity. You know, we talked a little bit, didn't know if it would really work. I mean, there's logistics that do happen to go with this, and an understanding we are an indoor team. It's not one of those things as far as the biggest world and everybody wants to know or knows anything about it. And we just started talking and kind of had similar visions of what he thought it could do for his network and what we could do on our end. And the ability to YouTube. We're on YouTube. Everyone gets to watch YouTube. Everyone in the world can watch YouTube. But the difference is if you're watching a standard station and it comes on, you're picking up on something you didn't see. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was just that opportunity, like I said, and growing it. It happened organically. I know that sounds crazy to say, and wasn't something that was in the weeds that we thought we were going to do and we planted seeds 6 or 7 years ago and worked on. It's an opportunity that happened as it became available. We put it out there, discussed it, and felt that it was a huge opportunity for the league. And that's on my side. I talked to Steven about it. He may have a little bit of a different view on his side as far as the media side. But for me, when I talked to Steven, I was like, hey, I've got this opportunity. What do you think? And then he was just like, what? And then, I mean, if you want to talk, Steven, from what you thought about it,
yeah,
that way you can kind of have your idea.
So for me, this was like knocking one of my goals off the charts, which I didn't think we were going to get this year. The previous 2 seasons, with 2 different commissioners, I had been pushing this of trying to get not necessarily this network, but a network that will pick us up for streaming, OTT platforms and things like that. Jim, you remember me talking about it on one of your shows, I think, back when Chris Siegfried was commissioner. I think it was like, just like, hey, I think it's going to happen sooner than later. Just the way that the market has been trending and the way that our league had evolved, and me taking on more of a role that involves streaming and seeing that it's not so hard. So it was good that Brandon, like, just weekend, I know he's more than busy. The fact that this was even on his chart of top 5 things to do was incredible for me and supportive for my role. So I was all for it. But I told him, like, I don't want to put my name on anything unless I talk to people in person. So Brandon got everything connected and we were able to talk to them. And really, that's what it came down to. And probably why we haven't done it in past seasons is just getting the right people to focus on it and getting the right people in the right place at the right time. And I honestly, of all seasons, I didn't expect it to happen this season. But, you know, thanks to Brandon and thanks to this, this company, we were able to make it work. And honestly, just even talking to the guys, they even reiterated my confidence of what we could bring to them, but then what they could do for us.
Well, to the network out there that recently partnered with us is Right Now TV Network. They're on 94 markets in the United States. They're also available on multiple platforms, Roku, Amazon Fire, and then easily you can go to rightnowtv.com and watch it right there. So they have a lot of content I've been obsessed with the channel over the last couple of days because one of my favorite events is on there. Bare knuckle fighting's there, so I'm like, oh
Yeah.
crap, I can actually watch it without paying $60 a month to watch it. I can actually watch it there. So
Yeah.
I'm into that type of stuff: wrestling, fighting, boxing. This is the channel. So Brandon, you have the opportunity or the honors of introducing the new partner of the National League.
All right. So I guess you're going to bring him in now. Norm is the gentleman who you're about to bring in here. Norm is the director of, I forget Norm's exact title. Norm's my guy. I just call him Norm. So Norm, what is your exact title? Because I forget it every time because we don't do titles. We're just guys. We're just buds. So
yeah. I mean, we're very much the same way. My title currently is managing director. I've got a partner in the business. He is the CEO because he's the founder of the network. And I said, hey, look, I'll make up a title. Mine is going to be managing director. So I put that in my signature block every time I send off an email. So, yeah, I'm the managing director of Right Now TV. I'm really one of the partners. It's a two-headed beast. Right Now TV is where there's two partners, and I'm one of them.
Well, you got to start somewhere. Let's talk about the beginnings of this partnership. Even your founding. How long has the network been around? What got you into actually doing network and sports TV?
Excellent question. Okay, so we came on air. We started, and it's very, very interesting story. 2018 was when we kicked off. When we kicked off, we had two affiliates. We had one in Wichita, Kansas, and one in Fresno, California. So, folks, if you are in Wichita, or if you're in Fresno, man, we love you because these were, and by the way, we still have those affiliates to this day. So we launched a television network with just two affiliates, and now we have well over 100 affiliates. We have grown steadily since 2018. Some history there, and it's very interesting because Jim, you're a pro wrestling fan, aren't you?
Yeah, unfortunately, yes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, right? Yeah. So Rob Coker is the CEO of Right Now TV, and Right Now TV was like his brainchild. He was the one who came up with the whole concept. He's the one with all the expertise. He actually worked many years for many different big networks. We're talking like ESPN, CBS Sports, and Turner Broadcasting. And when he was with Turner Broadcasting, he was one of the lead. He was, or if not he was one of the lead editors for WCW. So he was the guy who was editing WCW Nitro back in the day. Did you watch back then, Jim?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So he's got all kinds of great stories.
And company. Yeah, I know.
He's got great stories. I love it. It's a fan because I'm a wrestling fan too, and I'm in another life was a pro wrestling promoter myself, and that's how I came into the TV business is through the pro wrestling stuff. But so Rob can tell you all these great stories. Like he was one time in his editing booth, and so he was trying to work on a segment, promo with Hulk Hogan, and the Hulkster came into his cubicle, his editing bay, and he's doing the whole Hulk Hogan gimmick. All right, brother, why don't you go ahead and cut it right there? And Rob just kind of looks over his shoulder and he says, dude, it's just you and me, man. You don't have to put on the act, right? So anyway, so that was his thing. He's a big, anything in the television business, especially in the sports broadcasting, Rob Coker has done it. Whether it was directing, whether it was editing, whether it was operating a camera, at NASCAR, he's done it all. So he brought all that experience. At one point, he's like, you know what am I doing here? Why am I working for other people? Why don't I just start my own television network? And so when he did that, he knew me as a television producer. And he said, hey, man, Norm, can you produce some shows for me? I need content. And I said, yeah, sure, man. Of course I can do that. And so I started producing some stuff for him. And then I said, you know what, Rob, I think you probably need a partner in this business, this television network you're starting. So why don't you bring me on? I won't want any money up front. I'll just do my work and we'll see where it goes. And so that's what we did. Gosh, how long is that? That's 7 years ago. It probably is right now, 7 years. And gosh, the time just flies. But yeah, that's how we got started. And then we just grew it, just constantly approaching different television stations, different streaming partners, different cable outlets Say, hey, look, will you pick up our network? Will you pick up our net? Will you carry our feed? And that's where we are. That's where how we built ourselves to where we are currently.
So 24-hour streaming network. This is the side thing for me, and you are similar. We look at stats and numbers, and we get giddy by the numbers. You start from 2 markets, one with Wichita, now over 94 markets.
Absolutely. Yep.
What's the daily number of people who watch your network throughout all your platforms?
Okay, that is a fantastic question. I got to be very, very honest. Okay. And I hope your audience will really listen here, because this is a tough question. So we are absolutely almost national. Again, we've got, you said it, 94 different markets, and we talk about markets. These are big markets. We are in 16 of the top 20 television markets in the United States. So, we're talking about LA, New York, Chicago, Dallas, Atlanta, Houston, Miami, Las Vegas, Philly, Detroit, Phoenix, Nashville, it just and then a bunch of other smaller markets. We're in all of these different markets. But here's the thing. In order to know, we're a broadcast network. We're not primarily a streaming network. Our thing is traditional. We broadcast over the air. We have television affiliates in different cities everywhere. They broadcast, and then you watch it on television. Now, the problem, though, and again, this is me being very upfront, the problem, though, is to be Nielsen rated, and this is true across many television networks. To be Nielsen rated costs a ton of money. I mean, a ton of money. And we are not, like, I was kind of alluding to it earlier, we are not backed by the big boys. We're not backed by CBS. We are not owned or backed by Disney. We're not backed or owned by Viacom or Sony or any of those big billionaire multinational corps. We are a true homegrown television network with no billionaire backing. So accordingly, we are not yet Nielsen rated. So it's hard to know. It's hard to know our actual broadcast numbers, because that's where our meat and potatoes are. But what we do is we look at, the advertising response, right? Who is responding to our advertising? And we are seeing a huge spike in advertising response here just within the past 6 months. Our advertising response, in other words, the folks who are actually calling the companies who sponsor Right Now TV, it's huge.
Positive. Shatola, you have anything for?
No, I think the coolest thing is more eyes on the screens for fans, and more bringing the NAL to not your average NAL fan, which is great. And that's the thing. I learned this from working at the team level back in the day. Not everybody knows about arena football, nationwide. And a lot of times all it takes is for you to just watch one game. Now, back when I worked at the team level, that meant inviting a friend to a game and sitting down and seeing it. But I tell you, majority of the time when I would do this with either friends, family, or even just colleagues, people that work around the city, that I say, hey, come out to a game, because I go, who do you work for and stuff like that. I'd invite them to a game. They would always ask for tickets to come to the next one. And that was it's just resounding results of the sport itself. And I think we have an awesome sport to promote. So I remember back in the COVID days when, Jim, I remember telling you about, we got to get on more than just YouTube and stuff like that. I'm watching ESPN2 cornhole tournaments, and I'm like, arena football, no offense to cornhole. I play cornhole, but casually, obviously. But I'm like, there's definitely more exciting content that could be on, networks like that and things like that. So that kind of launched my fascination of learning more and approaching other platforms and networks and things like that to try to get the NAL product on more devices and more screens. And that's what Right Now TV is going to accomplish. And it's going to be cool getting a bunch of fans. And I know this from working at the NAL level with a team that goes abroad to another country. There are fans that just want to watch the sport. They are not Columbus Lion fans. They are not Omaha Beef fans. They are just arena football freaks, and they just want to watch the games. You know what I mean? And that's what the NFL does in Europe. They just get fans that are just fans of the sport in general. Whatever game is happening that week in London or in Germany, they just want to go to that game. And with the fantasy football world ever evolving, you're finding fans that are just fans of a player, and they will follow that player to every single team throughout their career and stuff like that. And I think we're going to get audiences like that with Right Now TV, whereas I think our YouTube audiences are similar to the fans that we see in the arenas in our local market. There's exceptions and stuff, but I think Right
Yes.
Now TV is definitely in that avenue.
YouTube can only go so much further because Brandon's been in the industry for a while. He knows because he's managed all different leagues. I have covered NAL and other sport. You can only go certain distance with the YouTube because the YouTube kind of likes to take streams off the air because apparently there's certain music in the background that flags something because of the DJ. But you guys have the agreement and it gets back on. But we brought Norm on because of the partnership of what the NAL and Right Now TV are going to present to the fans on the network on a weekly basis. But Brandon, I want to ask you this question. Now, both you guys, you would probably answer because you guys work behind the scenes. What is NAL going to provide? What's Right Now TV going to present? And how's this going to be presented to the fans who will tune in on Right Now TV?
So as far as the presentation of what we're providing, obviously we're going to be giving them film and footage to put out so that they're going to be games of the week that'll be broadcast live, not live, but semi-live. Norm, how do you say that? As shown as live. So
yeah, it's live to tape is what we call it. Yep.
So, and with those, we're going to highlight, 2 games a week minimum is our goal. And that way have those set time slots so that, and we joked about this, we do not have anyone that's listening and wants to know. We don't have a date right now as far as it's going to be a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We're still talking about that. Norm and I have been working on that, but have it set up so that every Wednesday at 8:00 is NAL football night and it'll be a game. So it's not one of those where it's hit or miss where you're just going to jump on. Norm, you can correct me at any time where you just jump on and it might be on, it might be off. We'll have a dedicated time for the games during the season so that you can go back, watch it, local sports bars. And you talk about all the markets. The one I'd love to watch a game in would be something as awesome as the Hawaii market. I saw that one. Norm, that made me very happy. So, but as far as our providing them, that's what we're giving them. We're working on the content to provide them the games and take care of that on our end with the professional quality of the production that we can do for those games. Steven, that's pretty much what you guys have
I'd like
got
to
laid
add
out.
something too. For fans that are going to say, "What's the difference? Why wouldn't I just watch it on YouTube? Why would I watch Right Now TV?" or vice versa? What you're going to see as an NAL fan is a more polished product. Right now with our YouTube, and we do a fantastic job. We have a lot of teams spread out across the nation, but all of our games are team produced. Now we do stuff at the league level to set them up for success. That's part of my role. But there's many roles within the league that help put on an NAL game. That's not just it's not all on the teams, but it is a team broadcast with team talent, team cameras. With Right Now TV, you're going to see a very polished version of the game, and there's going to be eliminating lulls and moments and things like that that you might see on a YouTube broadcast of teams slowly walking off the field, depending on the quality of the team's broadcast. But with Right Now TV, I think you're going to see a more polished look, a more polished product of the best that came out of that game. And I think that's what Right Now TV does already for other sports leagues and things like that. They get the most exciting parts of it and pack it into a polished product that fans can watch, which is great. So I'm definitely eager for fans to, watch it live, but also watch on Right Now TV, and I think it's a great way for us to package. Not to put any pressure on you, Jim, but I think this is a great avenue for us to package some of our league content that we produce with our league affiliates, such as Inside the Walls, so that fans can get a different look of not just team commercials, team partners. No offense to Right Now TV partners, but also, hey, check out this podcast, check out this episode, check out Brandon Ikard live from wherever, whatever we provide, which is great. So that was one of the things that attracted me when Brandon first brought the idea to me, that they want our league content out there to promote it. It's not just going to be the game from start to finish. There's going to be a little extra that you might not see on a live broadcast from a game, say, coming up this week.
Norm, before you respond to that, we had a fan come up with a question.
Okay.
What's Right Now TV going to do when games are going overtime? How are you going to combine that? How is Right Now TV going to take the whole entire game, including overtime, if the game does go in overtime?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. So, okay, so here's the thing. So the league is going to provide us extra content. Two things. The league is going to provide us extra content. So maybe some coach clinics or, some halftime shows, that sort of things that we can kind of use as like Legos, where if we go too long, we can add content or we can delete content as necessary. And then the thing is, we always have the power. We have the strict power to where if a game goes long, we'll just bleed over into the next whatever show is already in progress. And then once once the game goes out, once the game finishes, we can just say, hey, we're now rejoin our whatever scheduled broadcast or content. So yeah. Now, we've already got that all worked out. I think it's going to be really cool, especially this kind of added content that the league can provide to us, stuff like this. I think it's very important. I've talked about this, and we'll probably talk about this in this call, to tell the story about what the league is and what's going on week to week. The same way the NFL does it. The NFL doesn't just show you the game, right? They show you, hey, we're going to spotlight this particular player, or we're going to spotlight this coach, or we're going to spotlight the challenge that this team is facing. So, I think that's a really big piece of it, getting the whole story of the league out there to a wider audience to say, hey, look, this is very interesting. I should watch.
Brandon, have anything to add on?
I think a lot of it comes down to, as far as that question, the overtime, we want to show the content of the whole game. So obviously we're going to go as long as we can and do everything we can, and then build off of that. There's going to be things which I've spoken to you about doing, obviously with the wheeling. We want to have your game day live. We want to put that on, man. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny. Like, our first game may have longer. Norman and I've talked about this, may run a little longer than the next one, just because we've got that.
Yeah, I want to just throw in real quick, folks. We are not going to cut a game. If a game goes long, if it goes in overtime, it goes triple overtime or whatever, we are not going to cut it. You will watch. You will see every single second of that action. It's not going to get cut. You will see it.
Yeah, we have some fans chiming in. We have two organizations that chimed in. The Colorado Spartans coming in, saying go Spartans, and the Willing Miners pop in as well. So don't get nervous there, Norm. You got the whole entire league joining in.
That's all right.
And currently there currently is a game going on, right?
Yeah. There's a preseason game going on right now, right?
It's more of a, it is.
That's why I'm
typing.
I'm multitasking right now between that game.
They're treating it more like because there's going to be images coming. They're treating it more like it's one of our expansion franchises. So it's a non-league scrimmage type thing. Not even true full-size game thing. I think they're just setting it up so they can get everything going. They have more, obviously, players than you normally have. So that is happening right now. But I had one for you, Jim, and I've actually never asked this to Norm. Norm, just for our fans that are watching and things like that, what was the biggest thing in the excitement? I know we talked a little bit about getting the TV and getting all that for you guys to work with the NAL. What drew you when I brought the opportunity to you to jump at it so quick with the NAL and not really, I'm being honest, and anybody's listening and watching, he didn't bat an eye. He immediately jumped on. And what was it that made you do that? Sorry, Jim,
One word, Brandon. One word. Football. American football. And Americans love football. And that's something that we have always pursued football at Right Now TV, because it is just, American, like I said, red-blooded Americans, red-blooded guys, they want to watch American football. So we've done a lot of football here at the league. We did some bowl games, NCAA bowl games, but we want something that's consistent, something that's going to be week to week. Something where, there's going to be multiple games. There's going to be a story that's going to be developing. There's going to be teams to follow. There's going to be player developments. There's going to be some intrigue. There's going to be some controversy, because really controversy is the kind of stuff that sells. That's what we always have been looking for. I've been looking for football products since day one. And now we have found a really quality partner. I think you mentioned it. Arena football is football. Right. It is. There's no doubt about it. It is a different sport. Yeah, it's unique, but there's no doubt about these guys are playing football. And like you said, there's a scrimmage right now. A lot of these teams, my understanding, a lot of these guys, they'll come from the traditional, the traditional space, the traditional field, the traditional, longer field, 100 yards. They're playing semi-pro. They're ready to go to the next level. And suddenly now they're having to play in the arena. These are football players, right? These are absolutely professional, skilled football players. This is talent. This is exciting talent that needs to be showcased. And the big thing that I love about the product, the arena product, is the speed, right? The speed, the action, the contact. One of the big things that the fans nowadays that they have, a big one complaint about the traditional product. I don't want to call any names, but the traditional product is the speed, right? Hey, the game takes too long. We're sitting here waiting for a review, or we're waiting for whatever coach action. And then the other thing is the contact. So in arena football, you're going to have that fantastic contact up against the walls. So it's American football, but at the same time, it is its own sport, right? It's American football, but at the same time, it's its own sport. And so it has its own defined fan base. That's what we want to tap into, right? So, I mean, everything at Right Now TV, if it's something that's the American, again, I keep saying it, the red-blooded American male he wants, and whether it's NASCAR, whether it's hunting, whether it's fishing, whether it's, like you said earlier, a bare knuckle boxing, whatever, we want to bring that to our audience. And I think this particular product, NAL, is a phenomenal, fantastic product to bring to our audience.
To just clarify, the games are not live, because the fan just asked, are the games live? They are not live.
That is correct. For the first season. Well, now let me just make sure.
Norm, you want to break this news, Norm? You want to break the news?
Go ahead. Go ahead, Brandon. You go ahead.
Or should we just stick to the regular season?
You go ahead. You go ahead.
All right. So, in working through this, and the owners that might be watching this, and anyone else that's watching this, you guys are getting this news before anyone else. And Steven can verify the owners don't even know this. The championship game will be live.
Yes.
We'll make it happen.
It's already
We'll make it happen.
It's the championship game will be broadcast live on Right Now TV.
Yep.
Nice.
That is absolutely true. Yeah, that is absolutely the case. So the regular season games will be on a very, very quick, short delay. But the championship game, we will absolutely broadcast live on Right Now TV.
Nice. So you get to see more Brandon Ikard live.
Yeah.
Hey, if we can work it out, we'll have a pregame show. Have you there? We'll make a whole day of it, Jim.
Brandon will have his own personal commercial.
Just waving. Just wave.
Hey, that's what the kids. Well, you're not hated yet, though. You got to be hated first, Brandon. You got to look at was it Paul Tagliabue? Who's the commissioner now of the NFL? Every time he gets on, he gets booed.
Goodell.
Roger Goodell.
Paul Tagliabue.
Yeah.
Holy crap, that's long ago.
That's
I
a
think it'd
long
be
time
funny
ago.
if we
Yeah.
did like a testimonial video with Brandon. It's like, are you a fan of a losing NFL team? We have a solution for you.
That hits home there,
many
Steve. That
of,
hits home.
Struggling NFL fan bases
Come
and
on,
embrace
Steve, that hits
arena
home.
football.
That hits home, Steve. Come on.
I know. Jacksonville's actually a fair example. It's funny. I don't remember who told me this, but way back in the day when I first started working in arena football and I started seeing like teams that were really, really successful, it was like the Clevelands and the Pittsburghs and the Jacksonvilles that always had packed arenas. And it was like, what do they all have in common? Losing football teams, NFL football teams. Yep.
Well, not Pittsburgh, but those other markets certainly.
Hey, Steve, don't poke the bear at the Pittsburgh Steelers fans. They'll come in swarms.
They will. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
It's like messing with the beehive. You touch them and they all come out of nowhere. Don't do that.
Yeah.
I would say Pittsburgh and Cleveland. I've had bad experiences in Cleveland with fans.
Two of my co-hosts are Steelers and Browns fans. Easy.
Yeah.
So, I was going to say, the thing I did earlier today, I Googled what is the average price, so a ticket price for an NFL game. It came for, it was, I think it was SeatGeeks that gave me the answer. $150. That's just the average price. If you watch a winning team, like you were saying, Jacksonville, you can get a cheaper ticket. But if you're a fan of a winning team, man, you're going to pay probably more like $300. And then if you invite your girlfriend or your wife to come along, you're looking at a $600 game or a $600 weekend. and throw in a beer and all that, my gosh, you're looking at $1,000. I always tell people, I always tell football fans, look, you can watch. So I used to do it. I'll be honest. I understand that it's like kind of your competition, but I used to watch the AFL. I used to go to AFL Jacksonville Shark games back when they were a member of the, the opposite.
Oh no, well we call that the real AFL.
Okay. Oh yeah. So I used to go. I mean, you could get a ticket for a very reasonable price. The concessions were very reasonably priced. You get a beer for like a normal price, not like $17 for a domestic beer, right? And you're going to have just as much fun at an arena, or if not more, at an arena game that you will have at the standard kind of traditional experience. So I'm always telling, look, this is a fantastic sport. It's a fantastic game. And they're these guys, these players. They're not just guys like I want a second chance. No. These guys are the rebels, right? These guys are kind of the like, hey, we're gonna stand up, we're gonna be the outcasts or whatever, but we're going to make a stand and we're gonna play our game. That's the thing that I really, really enjoy about arena football. But the ticket prices I can get in for a reasonable amount. I can buy a beer for a reasonable amount, and then the guys on the field, man, those guys really want to play.
You know what I like too? My favorite thing about arena football, and this goes across. This is the sport, but the NAL does this very, very well. Where else in any sport? Let's stop talking about football. Let's just talk about sports in general. Let's even compare NASCAR, where every fan has the opportunity to go down to the pit and meet the players and the coaches and everything like that. Get an autographed football for free, just for being at the game. And it doesn't matter if you sat in the front row, if you were in a corporate suite, if you're in the owner's box. Everybody has that opportunity, and I think that's something that arena football does extremely well to embrace their fans, where your favorite player is your friend because you met him 2 games ago, and now you're friends on social media or things like that, and it just like spirals into this amazing relationship that I've seen between athletes that I've been on buses with and long-term season ticket holders and business owners and things like that. They no longer become the number, wide receiver number 11. They become, that's my buddy. He actually came to my birthday and things like that, which is very special.
Brandon, you were about to add something until Steve went.
Oh, I interrupts all the time. He hates it.
No, I'm good. Steve always loves to talk. We know that. That's Steve.
Yep. I'm definitely a media guy.
You a media guy? No. But you started the network in 2018.
That's right.
And a little history. The NAL started in 2017. So the partnership almost was, created together almost.
Yep.
But I just posted on social media about the breaking news, and the first message I get on DM is, who's my source? I'm literally doing the show right now, people. About the championship game. Hopefully that's a troll, but I highly doubt it. Anyways, combat fighting, MMA, boxing, pro wrestling, kickboxing, NASCAR, cooking, talk shows, outdoors, church services, bare knuckle fighting, TNA Impact, World Poker Tour, National Arena League. What is the future of Right Now TV?
Well, so here's the thing. We're kind of living in the future at this very moment. The big thing that we just hit it. Fans or folks that are watching right now might not know this, but one of the biggest owners of television networks, one of the biggest television networks in the United States. In other words, the owners of the infrastructure, the actual towers and the stations and all that. It's kind of funny, but one of the very largest owners is 5 Hour Energy. The energy drink that you see at the gas station. They own this huge network of broadcast infrastructure just all across the network or the nation. So why I say the future is now, we just within months, so about 6 months ago, we signed our partnership with that television network. That's what really gets our reach so far, so huge. Before that partnership, we were a much smaller network. We were a niche network. We were in a few big networks like Jacksonville and Atlanta. Then we had some, secondary markets, like I said before, Wichita. and Fresno, and then some really small markets in, say, Idaho and out west and Nebraska. But with this particular deal that we just signed, man, that just makes us huge. It really puts us on the national map where people just have to say, hey, look, these guys are legit. This is a real network. So where are we going in the future? We're hoping to bring more stuff like this. What I would like to see, I hope I don't like kind of spring this on Brandon too early, but I would like to see NAL games in the future, very near future, to be broadcast absolutely live. Like bring every single game that we can live to the network so that people are watching it the same way they would watch the NFL. That's a huge thing for us. The live experience would be phenomenal. So yeah, that's where we're looking. We're looking to expand our base. We're constantly looking for the newest, best thing as far as content. Trying to grow the audience. Audience really, eyeballs is what makes or breaks a television network. And you know that any type of streaming product, whether it's also the same thing with ticket sales. Ticket sales, eyeballs is the name of the game.
Landon, what's going to cost the viewers, our fans? Absolutely nothing.
Fantastic. Yeah, nothing. So it's going to cost you nothing. So, and this is the thing, there's no catch either. There's a lot of times when people say it costs nothing, but there's some gotcha. You got to sign up or you got to give your email address or it's a trial. No. There is no trial. There's nothing to download. There's nothing to sign up for. There's no credit card involved. You can watch it on all our different platforms for free. You just click on it and boom, away you go. In fact, if you go here, I got it over here. I don't know if you can read this, but www.rightnowtelevision.com. If you go there right now, www.rightnowtelevision.com, and you look up here in the corner, you'll see a watch now button. Just click that, you'll start watching it. That's as simple as it is. So, or if you have an affiliate in your area, you can watch it over the air. But you can get it regardless. The Roku, the Amazon Fire, all of those platforms are free. You don't have to pay. You don't have to sign up. Great question,
Brandon. Do we need?
Well,
do you have any more to add?
What he said right there. If anybody necessarily isn't wanting to stream and is actually watching on the digital platform, even on their website, they've got all those channels. So if you're wondering where in your market you can just have your TV on instead of having to, move things over or whatnot, they have those markets listed there too. That's the first thing I looked at, being very honest. That's how I knew back to Hawaii. Sorry guys, to Hawaii. That's how I knew they were in Hawaii. So, and I'll say this, Jim, I've told you this from the beginning when this kind of broke and we spoke about it after you somehow got your inside news, but we spoke about it. I'd like to eventually put a coach's show like you have, like the Inside the Walls. I'd love to have that as a weekly show on the network. And again, these are all things that over time can happen. We just want to make sure that we're good partners with Right Now TV. We provide them the high quality things that they expect from us and the professionalism they expect from us, as we know they're going to provide us with the same. And exactly what Norm said, build this relationship, and who knows where it could go. I mean, this could potentially create our own, NAL network inside of Right Now TV. This could be the place for that. That's something that you and I have joked about and talked about in our conversations. Steve and I have talked about this. Other people have talked about that. So where we have all of that stuff for our fans in one place, to be able to find it, to know where to go, to be the home of those type things, and just continue to build, man. Just don't be complacent on what you've got. Don't be reactive on stuff, and be proactive and try and push the league into areas that, it's not been. I'm new. I mean, let's be honest. I just came in obviously with the pseudo merger that happened with the league last year. So I'm not an NAL old school guy. I'm new to the league. I want to push it in directions which we've talked about and grow it and grow the reach and help people understand the vision of the owners and what they have for the NAL. That's my job. They have goals, they have visions, and they tell me what they're looking to do, what their aspirations are, and it's my job to help them find those and just to continue to do that. And Right Now TV is the way to start that process day one. Back to what Steven said. This wasn't something we thought was going to happen this year. We joked about this, and then it happens. but you don't know what can or can't happen unless you take those steps, man. You just got to go for it.
Sometimes the best things happen like that too, where it's just like it's not what you plan for months in advance. Like sometimes you just got to do it live and just go for it, and then it's like, wow, this is great. And we're gonna joke about it in the future. I think this will be a long-term thing, so we're gonna be joking about how this all started as well. So, and I will say this about Brandon too. Brandon's a go-getter. He's getting things done. He's been great on the calls, working with not just with me and Craig and the league guys, but he's really good at working one-on-one with owners and making sure that we're all league minded. As we grow, we want all the ships to grow. So if you guys like the weeks that Brandon have put in so far as commissioner, wait till he has 6 months of off season to like really hammer things down. That's what if you're a fan of the NAL, like you have no better reason to get even more excited about where the league is going to go now since Brandon's been in place.
Well, as a job as a commissioner, you're just the one firefighter, and you have so many fires to take out one by one.
No kidding.
And when you think everything's in order, something else happens, because that's the life of a commissioner. It's also the life of the National Arena League and any indoor minor league sport. It's not the NFL. It's not college. It's not NBA. It's not NHL. They don't have that luxury of a massive chunk of change that could just throw money at it, solve the issue.
Absolutely.
A lot of hardworking people.
The best way to put out
scenes.
fires too is have a good media guy that can be a fire extinguisher. That helps.
Okay, this is not the platform to put yourself up there, Steve. Okay, you have no room to come on my. Never mind. Just kidding.
But what he says though is a really good point. You have to kind of manage the audience's expectations, right? Unfortunately, the audience, a lot of times, especially something like football, they kind of bring very, very high expectations. It's like, what Steven just said. Hey, look, we are not the NFL. We are not CBS. We are not ESPN. But we are trying to push. We're trying to push the product to reach those kind of levels. And that, I think is the big thing. And there was one thing I wanted to add here. The thing you kind of asked me about this earlier, Jim. What do we bring? What does Right Now TV bring to the table? Well, I think it's this right here, right? The traditional television remote. This thing still has a tremendous amount of power because you think about it. You get a guy, he comes home from work, long day at work. He goes to the refrigerator. He grabs himself a beer. He sits down on the couch, and what's he do? He starts flipping through channels, right? He starts channel surfing. Now, I know that you and many other different leagues, you guys stream your games on YouTube or whatever platform. But the problem with that is, and I think you guys know it, is the fact that the fan has to know it's there. Right? They have to know it's there and go proactively look for the content. They have to want to watch it and then go and then go look for it. Whereas, this is what is organic. This, I think, is what is going to help the NAL really grow. There's folks out there who can be sitting down, like I said, on the couch, surfing the channels one night, and they're going to discover NAL. Like, hey, I didn't even know this existed. Or, hey, look, I didn't know I had access to this. So this thing is still extremely powerful, and I absolutely hope it's going to grow the league tremendously.
Well, Norm, I want to say thank you for a short notice jumping on.
Yep.
And like a tradition on Inside the Walls and a lot of shows I do, we never start on time, but at least we get the show going and get all the main talking points. And I have a feeling that me and you and Brandon and Steve will be working a lot this season and future seasons to give great quality to the fans. But from a fan's perspective, you own your own TV network. What's your favorite show on your own TV network?
Okay, my favorite show. That's a tough question. My favorite show is TNA Impact. So, like I think I mentioned it earlier, I think you did. We are a syndication partner with TNA Impact, and I think I may have mentioned that I am in a previous life, and sometimes in the current life, I'm a pro wrestling promoter. That's how I got in the TV business. So my favorite show right now on our network is TNA Impact.
So we have a championship game coming up. So if you want to bring some wrestlers out to do the coin toss or toss the commissioner.
Hey, I think that could happen.
Anything for money, man. Anything for money. If it helps the league.
He'll wrestle a bear.
They've made a movie about that. That would not be. Actually, that actually happened in a city that used to have a NAL team. If you go back to watching Tropic, what was it? What's the name of
Semi-pro.
Yeah, semi-pro.
That's such a good with Will Ferrell. Yep.
So the Tropic
He
Thunder,
puts
was
his
that
hand
their
in the
name?
owner meeting because
Yeah.
he wants to get his way, and the owners aren't agreeing with him. So I don't think we can relate to that, but it's still fun.
Don't move. They don't sense emotion. That's a freaking bear, you idiot. I can never mind. I'm not going to start quoting. Never mind. I'm going to stay off of that. Brandon, any final words there?
No, man. Just I'm excited for the season. Obviously, get ready to kick off next week. I'll see you guys in Wheeling, and ready to see what the season holds. You know, big things coming, more announcements. We'll have some more things coming. I'll get with you on those and let the fans know. I mean, we've talked about it, and on one thing we talked about in the beginning, this is anyone's watching. This is where you go to find out about the NAL. Inside the walls is going to know about the NAL. That's the ones that they're going to be your first source. So if they say it, trust it.
Norm,
Jim,
any
where
final?
can they find you if they want to listen to you on social media or anything else, or any of your other platforms beyond YouTube?
Me?
For
God, Jim, you go because
No,
I'm not
Jim
on social
usually
media.
asks this question to his guests, but I'm going to be the
Oh
first
man,
to ask
I would
him.
have to look and honestly find out where my socials are because of
Yeah.
the stuff. I don't do a lot of my socials, and that sounds horrible. Hey, I'll get them for you. You can post them, Jim. I don't care. I don't
Yeah.
use them, so they're there.
You don't need random DMs from random fans saying stuff like, "Why is this not happening?" I'm not going to tell you.
Somebody
I
will
don't know who you are.
respond. Trust me. Somebody within the building will respond and be like, "We'll tell him."
Yep.
Well, you can find all of the Inside the Walls content on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, X, many other platforms to come at In Walls Pod on every single thing I do.
The official podcast of the National Arena League.
Yeah, official podcast. And of course, we get some late arrivals because they got to keep their tradition around. Is Casey Smith, head coach, Mike Bonner.
You need some business insurance. Get with Casey's. Casey's good at that. Great commercial on Facebook, guys. Look him up.
Hey Casey, seeing that you're watching the show, give me somebody for Thursday's show. It's Columbus preview. I need someone on the show. So you having a homework assignment there, Casey. And Norm, any final words?
Yeah, real quick. So for your audience, right now, TV, right now, television.com, guys, give us a shot. Give us a watch. We have some great content other than, the NAL. By the way, we are going to be the home broadcast of one of your competitors, the International Football Alliance, right? We're going to have that. We're really excited about that. Plus, we got TNA Impact. We've got race. We got NASCAR. We've got Race Week. We've got the bare knuckle fighting. We've got so much fantastic content. Just give us a shot. Give us a watch. Again, like I said earlier, we are a true homegrown, American-owned, American-grown company. Again, not a big multinational, multi-billion-dollar company. We are the real deal, kind of like the NAL. So give us a shot. Just give us a watch. I think you will absolutely love what we have to offer.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, has been episode 176, Right Now TV. Go check their stuff out on Roku, Amazon Fire, rightnowtv.com, and also over 94 markets. I guarantee if you flip the channel and go through your thing, you're going to find them somewhere. Great content, especially what's coming on here in about 30 minutes on their network. So I'm Jim. That's Norm. That's Brandon. And that's Shatola, the new co-host of the show. We'll be back Thursday for Carolina and Columbus season preview because next week is game week here in the National Arena League. Be well, be safe. We'll see you guys later this week.